Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Favi, and welcome to Arrows DIY. On my channel, I like to do Dollar Tree DIYs, high-end dupes, as well as thrift flips. Today I'm going to be showing you one DIY that I made using Dollar Tree wooden pumpkin plaques. This DIY was super fun to do, and I would love it if you could check out how I made it with me. So at the Dollar Tree, I picked up a couple pumpkins. I couldn't find exactly what I needed, but I just had to make do with what I had. So I got two of those that say grateful, one of the ones, the big round ones, as well as these ones that kind of look like palette signs. And then I got this apple wooden plaque thing. I'm gonna try to make it work because I haven't used it and I've had it for about a year. So now I'm just gonna get them ready for the DIY. So I'm just pulling off all the extra parts there. I'm trying my best with this knife, this butter knife thing, but it's not working. I ended up just yanking it off with my bare hands. And then I just took off all the lettering and all the stuff so we could get it done. Now I'm just going to fast forward and show you everything I did. That way, if you want to craft along with me in the future, you could just play the video and pause it whenever you feel that you need to pause it. So I couldn't find smaller pumpkins. What I ended up doing was building my own with this, out of this plaque. So I just took the top portion and I removed that bottom middle portion, and it was perfect for making a little pumpkin. Now I'm gonna try to make like a pumpkin family. I've seen another YouTuber, Bree, over at Bree's Arts. She made one and I thought it was so cute. So I tried to do it myself here. I'll leave her channel link in the description below. So now I just take this apple plaque and I pull it apart because I just never used it and I'm really trying to use my stash. So I cut off that leaf and I'm hoping it looks less like an apple and more like a pumpkin. I used some sandpaper once I cut off that leaf and now it's nice and smooth. So this is what I'm left with. I'm showing you here. These are the pieces I'm going to use for my pumpkin family. Now this video is made as part of the DIY Fall Challenge hosted by Heidi Sonboul DIY. Now if you don't know her, I don't know where you've been, because she is amazingly talented and actually inspired me to start my own channel. I'll leave her link as well as the playlist in the description below. You will not be disappointed by Heidi Sonboul. Now back to the DIY. So here I have a couple paper packs that I got at Michael's when they were 70% off on sale. And here I'm just showing you some of the papers inside. I asked every person of my family to choose their own piece of scrapbook paper, and I was surprised at what my family chose. I promise I did not sway their decision. I just had them look at all the papers and choose their own. So if you cannot believe it, this is the one that my husband chose. So I definitely thought he would choose one of the wood grains. This paper came from the Modern Farmhouse paper pack. That's the name of the paper pack, Modern Farmhouse. And I was surprised when he got this one. It's really cool because it has like a gold leaf again in the grain of the wood, and I think it looks so cool. But I didn't think he was so fancy to choose gold. But this is the one that my husband chose, so I'm gonna go ahead and just use some Mod Podge, and I'm gonna put a big, nice layer of Mod Podge on this plaque. That way, the scrapbook paper adheres very well. It's very thick paper, so you need more Mod Podge than you think. Now, this point here, I did not take the staples out of the top of the plaque, and I kind of regret not doing that because the paper kind of bubbled up around where the staples were. So I just added more Mod Podge to that area and then put it back down. Now I use my roller because I'm really trying to get those little bubbles out of there, and it does help. Oop, gotta go. All right, so now on this pumpkin, I made sure to take off those staples so that the same thing wouldn't happen again. And this is the paper that I chose for myself. Isn't it beautiful? I literally bought this entire book of scrap paper just for this one paper. Okay, that's not true. I actually like a lot of the papers that are in this book, but this one was the selling point because isn't that gorgeous? Oh my goodness, I love that one. Okay, so back to the DIY. I took some Mod Podge, did the same thing, put a nice healthy dollop of Mod Podge on there, stuck the paper on there, and then I made sure to get the sides and Mod Podge all on top of it. That way it's sealed and protected because I love this DIY and I want to preserve it. Now here, this is the paper that my oldest son chose. And I was surprised that he chose this one because he doesn't really like red. But when he saw the paper, when I asked him to choose one, this one came from the fall time one, the Autumn Orchard scrap paper book. So yeah, he chose this one and it's so pretty. I mean, I think it's so nice. It was a good choice. And that's the one I did for him. I did the same process for that one. Now these are the smaller ones. These are for my smaller children, my 2 middle children. And this is the same. This is the book here, the Fall Orchard one. And this is what my second son picked. And he was like, I love the wood. So this is the one that I picked for him, and I made sure to leave, you know, like the leaves at the bottom there so you could see the fall time on the paper. So then you saw how I hot glued it with some of those wide tongue depressor sticks. I think my husband bought me those on accident. I sent him to get me some painter sticks, and these are the sticks he brought home. So whatever, I said thank you. Thank you, but that's not what I needed. But I'm gonna use them, so don't worry. Now just put some Mod Podge on there, and after I traced it out, I cut it out, I put it right on there just like I did with the other ones, and I let my daughter pick. And this is the one that she picked, which I was not surprised. She really liked the flowers on it, and it kind of looks just like mine, so I thought it was perfect that she picked this one. I did not fight her on it. I was like, good choice, my little minion. Perfect. So this is going to be like the mini-me pumpkin to the mama pumpkin. So I go ahead and I take that one and I trace it because the bottom there has a beautiful detail. Not that you really see it much now that I think about it on the pumpkin. Maybe you do. I don't know. Anyways, I like it. So then now I'm just going to take that top flower and I'm going to actually add that to the top of the pumpkin as well, because she got really excited when she saw the flowers. She said, I love this one. I love the flowers. So that's how I cut it. And it took 2 pieces of scrap paper, but I just picked the pieces I liked most. And then we're going to go ahead and Mod Podge that. Now with this layer, every time the pumpkin, okay, let me try this again. The pumpkin wood plaque that came in the palette pieces, the palette sign that was a pumpkin, the pumpkin sign that came in palette. I don't know how to explain that. The sign that came looking like a palette. Okay, that sign, I hope you know what I'm talking about. That sign had little holes on the side where the ribbon connected all of it. Wherever those staples were, left little holes in that wood plaque. So I would recommend going over it with Mod Podge first, letting the Mod Podge dry, therefore sealing the holes, and then putting the paper on it. Because I've noticed on the first pumpkin that I made for my son with the wood grain, that one was bubbling up in the areas where the holes were from the staples. So if you put 1 coat of Mod Podge, let it dry, and then put another coat of Mod Podge to stick on the paper, it works much better and doesn't bubble up. I also recommend using this roller. Now this paper here was the one that my 2-year-old chose, and I think it's because it just had his favorite fall time things on there, which are caramel apples. He's only had 1 fall that he remembers, really, but his has caramel apples, it has a blanket, it has a marshmallow on a stick. He loves making s'mores. He loves caramel apples, he loves hats and blankets and coziness, so I let him choose that one. And then since everybody's paper was so loud on the other pumpkins, I just picked this one. It's more calm, and that's for my baby, my smallest one, the one that's here with me now that woke up when this voiceover started. That one I chose because, I mean, really, he can't choose for himself yet. But that's how it's gonna look. And now I'm just gonna wrap the top of my husband pumpkin. The daddy pumpkin is gonna get some of this nautical rope on top, just on the stem area, just to make it look more substantial and manly and rough it up. So that's what I'm gonna do there. And all the boy pumpkins are gonna get some twine action around the stem. Now for the lady ones, I'm going to use some lace that I got from the Dollar Tree, as well as some ribbon that I also got from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just gonna make a big bow for the mommy pumpkin and a smaller bow for the mini-me daughter pumpkin. And I do that for both pumpkins. I use some twine once I dovetail the ends and make the bow shape. And I just tie it off in the center and then hot glue it right there. If you're still here, I want to thank you so much for your continued support. If you're new around here, hi, my name is Fabi, mother of 5. I DIY on my spare time for fun and for sanity. And I would love it if you joined the Arrows DIY family and hit that subscribe button. Here I like to have a lot of fun. I do a lot of different DIYs. I'm very eclectic in my style, as you can see. I like doing farmhouse, boho, shabby chic, basically, you know, wherever the wind takes me that day. So if you want to join in on the fun, hit that subscribe button and let's be family. So once I'm finished with the bow, I just go ahead and I cut off the ends. And now the baby pumpkin is looking a lot like the mama pumpkin. So once that's all done, I go ahead and I assemble the family together. So what I do is I just put the mommy and the daddy together with some hot glue. I use Gorilla Hot Glue, and I strongly recommend Gorilla Hot Glue. Surebonder is fine as well. I did use the Surebonder glue in the last video, and it worked pretty well for my pillows. If you want to check out that video, I'll link it right above here. And yeah, I just like having a lot of fun with my DIYs. I think creating should be fun. And the great thing about this is if you don't like the prints that I used today, you can go ahead and use your own. Just go to Michael's or go anywhere. Go to Hobby Lobby, any store. You could even use construction paper really if you want. You can do whatever you want. You can use ribbon. You can switch up the colors, the styles to fit your aesthetic. If you're more of a neutral person, you can use burlap. You can use white paint. You could use anything. But this concept of pumpkin patch family, I love it. I think it's so sweet. We went to the pumpkin patch last year, and that's where I actually announced my baby's arrival. And it just had a lot of sentiment for us. So that's why this DIY was so special to me. And yeah, I'm just sharing it with you guys. I'm excited to share it with you guys. So now I took a piece of the big nautical rope and I just tied that all around the pumpkin. I used hot glue in the back, and I also used some of that scrapbooking paper to lock it in place. I took the original grateful sign and stuck it on there as well with a little bit of hot glue. I also put that leaf back on there that we took off, that I yanked off. But I like how it turned out, but I want to know what you think about this. Leave it in the comments below. Do you like it? I know it's crazy busy, but hey, I'm a little extra, I've heard. So hit that like button if you like this video. If you want to see more of what I make in this house, subscribe. And if you want to buy me some craft supplies, you can do it at the Buy Me a Coffee account. I'll leave the link right there, also in my description box. And special thank you to Heidi for hosting this challenge. It's always a lot of fun. And thank you to you guys for watching and putting up with my shenanigans. Until next time, friends, God bless. Bye.